Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how I kind of structure my meal prep and diet. So throughout the year, like most people, I generally have a bulking phase and a cutting phase. With that being said, I really never go to the extreme with my bulking phase. So I kind of try to keep a lean physique year round. Even when I'm doing my bulk, generally that's in the winter, I still try to keep as much of a 4 or 6 pack as possible, just to kind of keep that base kind of leanness definition. If I start to see them going, I generally cut down on my calories, on my general overall macronutrient counts, just a little bit, kind of find the optimal range as far as where I should be with my diet, so I can keep that leanness year round. We'll still be able to put on some muscle during those months. So I'm going to show you guys a quick picture of what I look like after my cutting cycle. So like at the end of summer, this is actually taken at the end of last summer. So I'll show that on the screen right now. So as you can see, I'm looking pretty lean. You can definitely see pretty much a 6-pack there, pretty tapered waist. Overall just looking pretty defined kind of all around my overall physique. So now I'm going to show you a picture of what I look like at the end of one of my bulking cycles. And this was actually just taken a couple months ago, coming out of the colder months here. I'm live in Ohio, so I think it was taken, I think around February, January, somewhere in there. So I'll put that on the screen right now. And as you can see, I'm definitely a little more bulked, have a little more mass to me, definitely a little more muscle. Obviously a little more fat in some areas too. You can definitely see my waist is just a little wider in general. But notice how I still have basically a 6-pack. It actually almost looks like the abs protrude more. I don't know if that's just because my stomach pushes them out more, or if they actually gain muscle during those bulking months. But that's kind of a general comparison of how I look at the end of my cutting cycle and at the end of my bulking cycle. So I pretty much stay relatively lean year round. So how do I do that? I don't follow the traditional 6 meals a day, eat every 2 to 4 hours type schedule. I actually really only eat 3 times a day. I did follow the 6 meal a day schedule for a long time, and it's often touted in the fitness industry as being pretty much the only effective way to cut or bulk for a few different reasons. So in this video, I'm going to basically be telling you about why I choose to eat less times during the day. And I'm also going to explain some of the main reasons why the 6 meal a day approach is still considered one of the most popular styles of meal prep out there. And I'm going to kind of debunk a lot of myths behind that kind of are the ones that support the reason why people tout that as being the best. So first off, we'll get into the reasons why I like to eat less meals during the day. This is all from my personal experience. It's just what I feel. If this doesn't work for you, then obviously do whatever works best for you. So reason number 1 is that when I eat less often, I generally feel less hungry. I know this kind of contradicts a lot of logic, but this is just personally what I've experienced. After the first 4 or 5 days, once you get past those initial cravings of maybe not eating for 6 to 8 hours at a time, I notice that I can generally get through my day feeling less hungry. I generally eat breakfast, and then I eat a meal before I work out, about an hour before I work out, and then I eat a meal right when I come home. So that's what comprises my 3 meals in a day. I like to work out in the evening, generally evening or night. So the space between my breakfast and then pre-workout meal can sometimes be up to 8-10 hours long. So that's almost considered getting close to an intermittent fast there. But I've noticed that after the first 3 or 4 days, maybe about a week most of doing the 3 meal a day diet, I have less cravings throughout the day. So I don't know what that's necessarily attributed to. I feel like my body adapts and is able to go a longer stretch of time without feeling cravings. Essentially that allows me to eat more for function as opposed to eating just because I have a craving. So my first reason for eating less meals a day is that it makes me feel less hungry. So reason number 2 is that in general, it's just much easier to plan and prep your meals the less often you eat. It actually is a big benefit on the long term if you're trying to sustain a good diet. I mean, I've tried the 6 meal a day. I've even eaten 7-8 meals a day at some points. And I just find that it's super difficult, especially if you got a busy schedule. You know, I work, I go to school. On top of that, I got to worry about training, proper diet, and then other obligations. So having to go through my day worrying about how many meals I'm going to eat, trying to figure out what I'm going to put in each meal if I'm going to eat 6 meals a day, how I'm going to transport them around, when I'm going to eat them, when I'm going to have time between, let's say, classes or shifts to eat my meals. It just is tiresome, and it just takes a lot more out of you over the course of a day when you're having to worry about prepping and organizing 6 meals as opposed to only 3. And on top of that, it's much easier to properly reach your macro ratio goals when you eat less. So basically, when you have to prep 6 meals in a day, you're gonna have to split your macro count between those 6 meals in a way that kind of makes sense. You don't want to do, you know, all protein the first 3 meals and all carbs and then all fats a lot. You know, you really want to space it evenly, and that can be difficult. You know, it's almost like a math game at that point. How much are you going to put into this? What portions are you going to put into that one? And just trying to coordinate all that can be a real pain. It's not that hard to do over a few days, a week, 2 weeks. But when you try to sustain it for months, years especially, that can really wear you down, especially when you have a busy schedule like most of us do. Reason number 3 kind of piggybanks off of reason number 2. You just have much more time in the day. You know, prepping, cooking, planning meals takes a lot of time. No matter what, when you have to prep for less meals during the day, it's going to take less time out of the day to do. So that's time you could be focused on planning what you're going to eat for the day, making sure your macros are right, and just, you know, planning your training, actually training, and then obviously the 100 other things you have to do in the day besides things that are fitness related. So just having more time in the day is a huge reason that you're able to sustain this diet more. And it definitely works better for me. Like I said, I have a really busy schedule. I work or go to school almost every day, even in the summer. So reason number 3 is just having more time in the day. Reason number 4 is one that I didn't really see or anticipate before switching to 3 meals a day. Putting the same amount of macros that I eat normally for, let's say 6 meals during the day, and condensing that into less meals during the day. There generally is just more macros, more carbs, more proteins, more fats in each one of those meals. And this specifically pertains to my pre-workout meal. Obviously, I'm gonna be taking a higher intake of carbs, which is essential for getting good pumps. So I've noticed that by switching to this diet, I actually get great pumps. I don't eat right before I work out. I generally give myself about an hour, hour and a half before I work out. So first off, it gets my stomach some time to settle. Obviously, you don't want to eat a huge meal and then go to the gym immediately after. And also it allows that nutrients kind of get in my bloodstream. Like I said, especially those carbs, you're gonna notice a crazy pump once you start generally just eating more right before your workout. And reason number 5 is that I just feel leaner throughout the day. I think it comes mostly down to less bloating. When I am constantly loading up on food 6, 7, 8 times a day, I kind of have a persistent feeling of bloat because I'm constantly putting more food into it. When I eat less often, I just feel a lot leaner, a lot less bloated. So that's reason number 5, is that I just feel leaner throughout the day when I eat less often. So now I'm gonna go into some of the main reasons why the 6 meal a day approach, or just in general eating more often for fitness improvements, is often touted as kind of the most effective strategy for planning your meals and meal prepping. Number 1 is the myth that you can only absorb 25, 30, 35 grams of protein per meal. Even I believe this for the longest time. You know, I thought if I was eating anything more than 30, 35 grams of protein, it would all just turn to fat at that point. And I actually have attached a few links below to some information supporting what I'm saying here. This isn't just my opinion, there's actually research backing this up now. I have a link from Athlete Next, he does a great video on this, also from Picture Fit, and then I have an article from WebMD that kind of also debunks the whole 6 meal a day approach. So the truth is, guys, your body essentially absorbs as much protein as you put into it in any given meal. Like I said, I encourage you to click those links. They do a much more in-depth explanation of this specific point. I don't have time to go too much in detail into it right now. The point I'm trying to get across is that your body will essentially absorb all the protein you put into it in any given meal. So right now, for example, my goal macro for protein is between 180 and 200 grams of protein per day. And as I said, I only eat 3 meals a day. So that generally equates to about 60 to 70 grams of protein per meal. And obviously I've retained it just fine. I make solid gains. If I wasn't absorbing half the protein per meal, I'd be in a protein deficiency and I definitely would not make the gains. So I can tell you from personal experience, as well as the research, that your body will absorb more than 30 grams of protein. Not saying there isn't some sort of upper limit cutoff to what you eat. I mean, if you eat 200 grams of protein in one sitting, yeah, you're probably not gonna absorb it all. That's just crazy high. You can absorb more than 25, 30. You can absorb a lot more than that per meal. So that should not be a reason that you have to spread your meals out throughout the day into 6, 7 meals or whatever. Main reason number 2 why the 6 meal a day approach is still perpetuated as the most effective way is that it was believed for the longest time that eating more often speeds up your metabolism. And as the last myth, I once believed that too. I think most of us would believe that now. If you asked the average gym goer why they eat more often, they'd probably say it helps speed up your metabolism. But more research has been done into that, guys, and it's been showing that that is absolutely not true. Essentially, there's no correlation between how often you eat in the day and your metabolism. I mean, that's even shown in studies on intermittent fasting when people will essentially go half the day without eating. There's been no measurable slowdown in the metabolism of those participants in the study. So just right there, that goes to show you that, you know, eating a little less often, for example, in my case, 3 times a day, will not slow down your metabolism anyway. The only thing that has consistently been shown to manipulate or speed up metabolism is training, which is obviously a different component in fitness than diet. So my point here is that eating less often per day will not slow down your metabolism. There should be no change at all, in fact, on that. And the reason number 3 that I have that kind of goes against the traditional eating more meals a day, kind of spaced out approach to your meal prep, is actually mentioned in the Picture Fit reference below. And that is that, well, little to no difference has been observed between groups that ate more often lower quantities, or groups that ate more condensed meals, obviously less times during the day, they actually found that they experienced in general less muscle breakdown when you ate less meals in a higher quantity of specifically protein in this case. So that's just another point that kind of goes against the traditional 6 meal a day approach, and another reason why I chose to switch over to only eating 3 meals a day. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, guys, going to eating less often in the day isn't for everyone. In the end, it's up to your personal preference. Like I said, my main point here is to get across that you should really be focusing on your overall nutritional intake in the day, rather than trying to stress about how often you're eating or carry around, a bag of meal prep so that you're speeding up your metabolism and you're absorbing all the protein. That's just complete BS, essentially. But this isn't for everyone. Ultimately, it comes down to what works best for you. People who are diabetic or who are just sensitive to blood sugar differences might not want to try this approach. If you feel like you operate better, you feel better off of eating more times during the day, then by all means, go for it. If it's not an impediment to you, if it's not any kind of stress in your life, it doesn't add any kind of difficulty like it does to me, then go for it if that works best for you. I know I didn't talk about exactly what I eat during those meals, and I will probably be making a video very shortly, maybe even the next video, kind of following just a regular day of eating for me. I'm not gonna BS it at all. It's just gonna be legit what I eat. I don't eat perfectly. I have to sustain a diet year round, so I will just be giving you a no BS view of how I eat on a very average day. Okay, so that'll probably be coming up very soon. Anyways, I hope you learned a lot from this video. I hope it kind of expanded your view on the whole topic of dieting with bodybuilding and fitness. If you did like it, go ahead and leave a like. Subscribe for more. As I mentioned, I will be bringing you a diet video hopefully very soon. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope to see you next time. Peace.